Thank you, everyone, for coming to AQ Adaptive Intelligence's Thinking Thursdays. Today we have a very intriguing guest who specializes in epic brain balancing with movement. Our guest's name is Dr. Lauren SCHREIBER. She is a chiropractor, a healer, and a woman of many talents. So Lauren's fascination with chiropractic goes back to neuroscience and neurology. And today she's going to share with us some of the secrets that she's learned through her many years of study in the subject. So part of what she does is to help bring a disorganized brain into greater coherence by allowing the left side of the brain, the more logic-based, the more concrete side of the brain, do what it does best. And then the more artistic side, the more relative side, both function together in a way that is more adaptive, essentially. And the way she does that is a very unique combination of using LED and fire poise to cause the brain to figure out where it is in time-space orientation and then coordinate effectively. So Dr. Lauren herself is a very adventurous person. She's known for doing camping, going out to different locations, going all over the world, and we'll get to hear more about her many adventures in that realm as well, which is actually how she got into this in the first place. And I'm very proud of Dr. Lauren. She's worked with me before with Chiroseanergy, the first company I started, and that's for chiropractors to get together and to go out to different places and to share in a more cohesive and fun environment. So we put together a retreat in the past for chiropractors to the Bahamas, and that was a great success. We had our whole team there, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of great memories. So she's also a staff member for AQ Adaptive Intelligence, and she helps out with our healing retreats, which is more for people of all sorts of backgrounds. This is for lay people, this is for people that are healers, and including other chiropractors, people that love yoga, meditation, biohacking. It's basically a decentralized health hub for everyone to get together and to become better. And so the topic of today's talk is going to be epic brain balancing with movement. And without further ado, I will be bringing to you Dr. Lauren SCHREIBER. How are you, Dr. Lauren? How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm super excited to share this information. It's one of my passions, and it's been something I've been studying since, I was 16 years old, and I'm 32 now. And so it feels really good to share something that has taken years and years to do in-depth research on. So
yeah. And I've done a lot of the same research and studying as you. So tell us a little bit about how, like, some of your backstory, like, because I know you've done a lot of studying, but you've also done a lot of adventuring, right? And it's kind of taking you on this path of figuring out that you can balance the brain in this very unique way. Can you tell us more about how that was sparked?
I first got into LED whenever I was attending Logan College of Chiropractic. That was back in 2010 to 2012. And then from the LED poi, I kind of picked it up as a hobby. And then I went into more of the fire poi because I had more of like a spiritual, sensual connection. And I felt like it was more honoring than a rave type of experience. So, yeah. And I do have a video I would like to share with you guys. So it was actually a performance that we did out at Cedar Lake Cellars in Wright City, Missouri. They had an event called Pyromania that was, I think, 15,000 people showed up. And it was their first time ever actually having fire performers there. And so basically what Pyromania is, it's a all day long event, and people from all over the Midwest come and stay there for the day. They've got kids activities in the daytime, and then the evening, the big event is 2 hours worth of synchronized fireworks with lasers. It's basically a competition between different colleges all over the nation. And so in the middle of that 2 hour performance, they had a 30-minute time slot that was like the intermission time. And so myself and then 11 other individuals got together, did some choreography, and I think we had fire poi, fire staff, fire fans. We even had like fire wings.
Wow,
so it was
that's
a really
cool.
good turnout.
Yeah.
Dr. Lauren SCHREIBER here, talking about epic brain balancing with movement. My passion lies in fire poi, and I got started back in 2010 whenever I was attending Logan College of Chiropractic out in Chesterfield, Missouri. I picked it up as a hobby, and I first started off with LED poi, and then I moved more towards fire poi because it had more of a tribal, sensual, primal feel to it. And I'd like to go ahead and start with a short video of us performing at a winery in Wright City, Missouri, and it was during the Pyromania event. So I'm going to go and press play.
So tell us about hemisphericity. What is it all about? Like, why are we learning this? Why does it help us?
Yeah, so the hemisphericity. A lot of people think that they are either left brained or right brain because we talk about, oh, you're left brained or you're right brain dominant. Just because it's common doesn't necessarily mean it's normal. What I've been finding in my research is that the left brain is responsible for certain things that you had mentioned, such as logic, sequencing, linear thinking, mathematics, facts, and thinking in words. Whereas the right brain, it's more for imagination, holistic thinking, intuition, arts, rhythm, nonverbal cues, feelings, visualizations, and dreaming. So it's more of the abstract aspect of the brain. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when we're right-handed, we tend to be left brain dominant because of the decussations of the pyramidal tracts in the brain. But it's actually not normal to be so heavily one-sided. So they're talking about the brain has qualities to it, but really we use the brain equally on both sides. And so again, on the left brain, it's more verbal, analytical, and orderly than the right brain. It's also sometimes called the digital brain. So it's better at things like reading, writing, and computations. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to go to the right brain is going to be more visual and intuitive. So you're thinking artsy people, think artsy, lots of color, things that are not concrete. And it's also referred to sometimes as the analog brain. It's more creative and less organized way of thinking. So it's kind of the abstract part of the brain.
But tell us like what you do for it though. Like, so is there a certain technique that you use to achieve balancing the brain? Like, what do you do? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, there's different ways to analyze to see how the body is expressing the neurology. And so I'll do like a lot of orthopedic neurological exams to figure out how the brain is functioning. But there's different rehabilitative exercises. So something that the bioenergetic synchronization technique started was something called the mortar march. And the mortar march is a form of bilateral asymmetrical movement. And that's another reason I still love fire poise because it's using both sides of the brain asymmetrically. So what I like to recommend to a lot of people, I mean, it's so simple, but just going for a walk for 30 minutes in the morning has amazing capacity to even out both left and right hemispheres. You could go ahead and go rock climbing. That's using both sides of the body asymmetrically at different times. You could spend fire poise. That's going to be bilateral asymmetrical movements as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do to help support a healthy functioning brain so that you can be a super learner, so that you can be at your top of your game, so that you can be at your healthiest that you possibly can. So, and then the poi, apparently, it started in New Zealand by the Maori women as a form of entertainment. And then after the entertainment and the dance, I guess the Maori men started using it more of a defensive fighting technique.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I
then
would
what
love to
else?
see some of that in jiu-jitsu.
Right?
Some MMA with fire. That'd be so cool.
Mm-hmm. According to Maori researcher Dr. Karen Parigantai, I believe is how that's said, poi was
Hmm.
originally part of the dance section where taper, meaning the house of entertainment, so it's usually just a form of entertainment. And then two early accounts of poi read in quotes, one pretty haka they have, in which each performer holds a ball with a short piece of string attached and the different motions given to it, which with greatly rapidity and in perfect time form a pleasing accompaniment to the monotonous, dreary sing-song recital. At times, the voice seems to proceed from the heel. It is so deep. And that's from Lieutenant Colonel St. John, 1830. I'll do like a little photo there. So that's a fire breather. That's not fire poi.
Right, right.
And then the fire fans, that's one that I recently ended up picking up. That's the picture in the center on the top there.
Oh yeah, it
So
looks
it's just,
pretty. Wow.
yeah, it's like a metal fan that you can hold in both hands, and there's 5 different points of fire. And then the fire poise, we're going to see on the bottom two pictures on the left and the right.
All right, so Lauren, you were telling us about using fire poise to balance the brain. What about that helps you do that?
Okay, so anytime that you incorporate bilateral asymmetrical movements, anytime that you use both sides of the body at different times, that'll go ahead and bring more balance to the left and right cortical hemispheres. anytime I use my right hand, that incorporates the left brain. And anytime I use my left hand, that uses the right brain. So if you
Right.
tend to be right-handed, that means you tend to operate in a left brain dominant pattern, because you're utilizing this hand more. So it's triggering the neurons in the left brain more frequently. So in order to counterbalance that, so your brain is equal and balanced and everything's all happy, you can use the left hand for grabbing things if you're cooking, or if you're trying to go get something out of a pantry, you can use your left hand for that, to where it's still triggering the neurons in the right side of the brain, to where you've got more cohesiveness overall in the cortex.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a really interesting anatomical reason why that's important. And if you study anatomy in detail, especially within neurology, you see that the brain, when it sends its connections to the rest of the body, it actually does this crisscross. So it goes, this part of the brain versus this part of the brain, and they kind of cross. They cross over like this. So like what you're saying, and the same thing applies also to the legs too, right? I think we're just talking about how the anatomically it crosses over, right?
Yeah, was it the
Yeah.
corpus callosum in the brain? I think that's it.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, the decussation happens.
Well, yeah, fair. Depends on which track and where at. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it depends where.
Because some
It's more
decusate in the
complicated.
cord, some decusate in the brain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, anatomically speaking, that's very important. And so that's why you incorporate balance, because like when you do these things, you also have to move around, right? So maybe sometimes you'll be staying on one leg, or you'll be spinning something one way and then the other thing the other way, right? And then you'll cross them over. So it challenges the brain, right? And whenever the brain is challenged, it needs to adapt. It needs to basically change its neurons in a certain way to where it can now do the thing that it couldn't do before, or it couldn't do it very well. Neurology is wired for adaptation. That is what it's for. Challenging it in this way, like, makes it basically sprout new connections. It helps it develop in new patterns. So
More
what you're,
neuroplasticity, yeah.
yeah, more neuroplasticity, exactly. So like that's why this is important. And same thing with, I've noticed, like, people that are geniuses, they tend to, or most quantum physicists, they're also musicians as well. They're always like playing their guitar, and that's how they do their break, right? So they're doing all this math stuff for a long time, then they go, okay, and I want to go play my instrument. But that helps with the bilateral movements, right? Because when you're strumming this way, but then you're doing this, you're challenging the brain in different ways, right? So yeah, what are other things that you do to help facilitate that, make it a little bit more challenging? Because like, at a certain point, it becomes kind of easy to do fire point. I'm sure. Like, I've never tried myself, but eventually it does become easier, right?
There's a lot of different techniques for sure. And so like with anything there, you could always learn something new. You could always create something. I mean, just make it as fun as what you possibly want to. In addition, other ways that I support neural health, I mean, aromatherapy. You could do breathing peppermint essential oil through the left nostril will help hyperactivate the right cortical hemisphere.
Oh,
Pain
interesting.
decussations. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the limbic
Wow.
and the limbic system is going to be most closely associated to the emotional system. So if you're trying to remember something, let's say if you're studying for a test, or you're trying to remember, like get a healthy routine started in your morning. So like an attitude of gratitude sort of thing. You could actually do essential oils with that meditation process to help trigger that emotional
Mm.
response in your body, and actually catalyze the repatterning of the brain more effectively. So I definitely
Yeah.
use sense for that.
Yeah, and that's another great way to biohack, which actually I remember this from school. Or if you do want to remember something, like, it goes instantly into your long-term memory. Because like normally when you learn something, you see a bunch of facts and you have to try to memorize it, and then like it gets stored in your short-term memory, and then you go to bed, you reconsolidate, and now it's long-term memory. But with smell, it's instant. So when you smell something, you remember that long term.
Yep.
And that's a good hack, a good way to
Yep.
like memorize a bunch of things, but using smell, because you're circumventing that neurological process.
And it's so
So
closely connected. Yep. It's a great tool
yeah,
to have.
and I look forward to us using that at the healing retreats as well. Like integrating all these things together to help
Yeah.
people break through different patterns that they've been stuck in, or helping develop new patterns that they want to see in their life. Using these types of
Yeah.
intermodalistic
Yep.
approaches is very useful, and it's a very powerful combination. At the healing retreat, can you give us, not too much, but give us some of the things that you're looking forward to with your part of the interactive in the healing retreat?
I mean, I'm excited to share the different techniques that I've stumbled across over the last decade, because not everyone gets exposed to the same information as they go throughout chiropractic college. And even if they were aware of the best technique, the bioenergetic synchronization technique, you might not be aware of the mortar march. And so I'm stoked to be able to finally share all the things that I've accumulated over the years with people who feel like it would be valuable to adding into like their own tool belt.
Okay, so are there any final parting words that you'd like to give to our viewers on YouTube, or actually, we're recently going to start something on Clubhouse. Clubhouse, that's this new interactive verbal platform. So we'll be doing some stuff for AQ on there as well, and sharing the messages that we've had through all these months and years almost. We're going to go ahead and go into the discussion part. We'll be doing a Q&A session with Dr. Lauren, and we can ask her all of our many questions.
I feel like I really lack in the left brain, and I'm just so heavy right brain.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already address that, like how you could develop more of your left brain? I'm all artsy fartsy, ethereal.
Yeah. So are you right-handed or left-handed dominant?
Right-handed.
So you're saying that you notice that you're very left brain dominant?
Is I'm right-brained. Brain dominant for creativity, but like math, I struggle with directions. It's almost retardation.
It's fair. It's a learning curve. It's a step at a time. One thing that kind of like baby steps to getting into that, you could do something like walk 30 minutes a day to get more action going for the other side of your brain.
Okay.
You could also do essential oils associated with a specific task. So if you're trying to go grocery shopping and you want to remember what's on the list, maybe smell some lemongrass essential oil through one of your nostrils. That would trigger the side of the brain that may not be as active, and that should help you remember what to get.
Peppermint oil, the little the ones that you put in your mouth.
I like those. I just say making lists. Yeah, just staying active.
I broke my toe in 3 different places on Friday, but at least I have a boot and I can walk, because I couldn't walk, and maybe that will help. At least I can walk.
A lot of times if you have brittle toes, it's because you have lack of magnesium.
Okay, if that were the case, I would just be shocked, because I take so much magnesium, and I used to do micronutrient. Anything I take, probably bordering on too much magnesium. I dropped a Gia water bottle. They're porcelain on the inside and then stainless steel. Dropped it from heart level straight down on my toe. So
well, I don't think magnesium's gonna
Yeah.
I think the pot won on that one.
If you don't have enough magnesium, your bones become too brittle. And so then you can, if you have magnesium, then it makes them more tough. You won't turn into Superman or anything.
I wish you a speedy healing recovery. Yeah.
Thank you. What about ADD? Did anyone address that?
Okay, so ADD is going to be, okay. I struggled with that for about 3 years. Yeah, that was at Logan. Color therapy has been really helpful.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's been like one of the more effective things for me.
So how are you using color therapy?
So I would go ahead and wear it, like personally. So if I want to go ahead and try focusing on something, like something specific, for me, red helped me personally because it's very grounding color. And because I felt more grounded, I was able to focus better and be able to get through my tasks more effectively and efficiently by having that more stable presence.
Drawn to certain colors, but maybe they're not the best for focus, because I hate red.
Well, I mean, and you might resonate with something different.
Yeah, maybe try like magenta or hot pink or something.
Or orange, maybe.
Pink, white, and beige.
There you go.
Yeah, use pink.
I love pink.
There you go.
Sometimes I think it's a gift, though. What do you think?
What's a gift?
Having ADD to a certain extent.
I think anything, if you know how to use the resource, can be a blessing. Yeah, it's like it's playing the cards that you're dealt, and it's up to you if you win the game or not. Yeah, it can definitely be a blessing. Yeah.
But if you have bad cards, just bluff the whole time.
Right.
Fake until you make it.
They believe what you believe.
Right. What about you, Brandon? What do you think?
I knew about left brain, right brain, and what the differences were, but never like thinking about like actually balancing them and keeping them in check, so that's new to me.
And the reason I recommend it so highly is that usually whenever it's in a state of miscommunication or dysregulation, the feeling that we tend to experience is more unstable. And so the beautiful benefit of having the cortical hemispheres balanced is that you feel more peace and ease in your body. And then whenever you feel more peace and ease, then you're able to communicate that, and then you can create more peace and ease in your environment. So that's kind of like what the end goal was. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I've always had trouble with focus. You guys were just talking about focusing on different things. I feel like it could be some kind of imbalance possibly with that. Getting more balance would help staying on track, I think. So
Yeah, and at the retreat, I could always, I don't want to call it specifically muscle testing, but there's a way that I could evaluate that communication using the essential oils and the muscle testing to figure out an irregularity. So it's pretty easy to pick up on, but not sometimes whenever you're experiencing it. Sometimes you kind of need someone
right,
from outside in looking in.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, that's the importance of having multiple healers. You know, one person might pick up on one thing that's really big, but maybe somebody else will pick up on something else that maybe they didn't notice, but maybe they didn't
right.
notice the thing that the other person noticed. So it's good to like have that group, right?
Layers.
And that's why we have the healing retreats, is because you get, you know, looked at by many different practitioners of many different fields, and like they
Oh
all bring
yeah,
their gifts, and they all like share in the gifts with each other, so they become better, and then they, at their better state, they help everybody else that's there as well. So it's like
Awesome.
amplifying the human field of consciousness, if you will,
oh
and
yeah.
health and all of that as well.
Yeah, I love visiting different chiropractors. You know, I don't like sticking with just one. I like going around and seeing all different techniques and how all the different ones function and I think you know that helps me out a lot. Just and you know just meeting different people also as far as different chiropractors as far as that specifically.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
I've
different approaches to it for sure. And
right
you might
exactly.
vibe with a specific approach or person at one stage of your life. And then once you learn the lessons in that stage, then vibe with another approach or in
Right,
person. So it's
right.
awesome that you're kind of going the layers of the cake, more or less.
Yeah, I like exploring stuff all the way. I don't feel like I've left any stones unturned. So I'm always trying to, you know, look at every single aspect and try every single aspect. So
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now, I was like that too when I was in chiropractic school. Like I went to like every single technique I could try, right? And I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
And
oh
there's a
wow,
lot of
like I
them.
really like this. Yeah, there's a lot. I
There's
was
a
like,
whole
oh wow, this
bunch.
is really cool. But then this is really cool over here too. And like I just like started learning all of them. But then like that
Yeah,
expanded to like beyond the scope of chiropractic, and I was like, wow, this thing over here is really cool. You know, like, and that thing is really cool too. And then it just like start, you know, grow, right? So you'll get to that point too where you're expanding literally. Your knowledge base is
yeah,
expanding, your awareness of things is expanding, your ability to heal is expanding. And
yeah.
so like you'll be able to then like network all those things together into something more cohesive.
Right. And I think if you see the what everybody's doing and all the different ways they're doing it, for me, I've been able to almost like even though they're all doing a different thing, they're all kind of getting to the same. They're all doing the same thing, but it's all in a different way. Just where I think it's really fascinating to see how people go to different places or get to the same destination, but they get to it from a different location.
Yeah, exactly. And the path is to heal, right? Like to heal
Right.
yourself, and then
Right.
when you heal yourself, then you can heal the rest of humanity, right? Like
Exactly.
that's what
Exactly.
any healer could ever hope to accomplish, is to first heal themselves, because you
Right.
can't help anybody if you know you're broken and falling apart. But if
Exactly.
you're
And
good, if you're
I feel
good,
like people do it the opposite way. Like they may be internally just not okay, but they feel like, well, if I just help everybody, I'll feel better. Which is, I mean, you'll just true, you will feel better, but it won't be like a complete thing. You know, I feel like you got to take care of yourself first.
and actually, when I did paramedics school, because I was a paramedic for a good while.
Oh, okay.
But rule number one in paramedic school is when you arrive at a scene, first thing you do is make sure it's safe for you.
Right.
Because if it's not safe for you and you get hurt, who's going to help you? You're the
Right.
paramedic.
Yeah. Then you got more people hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have more people hurt, and then people have to try to save you. You know, so
Right.
you're just causing more problems. You got to take care of you first. You know, like treat your body as a temple, like you know, like it even says in the Bible, for example.
Yeah.
But that's true. Like no matter what you do, is like you got to first figure things out for yourself, and then you can help others. So it's part of the healing journey. And it's the best part, honestly. And I'm sure like Jeff can attest to it, because when I was helping him heal, he was like, I was like, oh come on, you know, when is this? When am I gonna see God and experience all these cool things? I'm like, all right, patience, grasshopper. You know, like one step at a time. You got to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Because it's a fun ride. It really is, and you'll heal from a lot of things. You'll experience a lot of things, and at the end of the day, or at the end of the process, you'll be a lot better for it. Did you want to talk about the little group stuff they were talking about before? For those of you who know what Clubhouse is, it's a new platform.
Okay, I'll explain it a little bit. For those of you that have iPads, iPhones, but there's a new app that's kind of stirring up things quite a bit. You can go into a room. It doesn't show your image. They provide a photo. You can enter the room. The rooms are based on interests. So like they have rooms about chiropractic, healthcare, or investing, cryptocurrency, all kinds of stuff. So whatever your interests, you're likely to be somebody that's also interested in it. And then you can request to talk. You can make a request, and then moderators will potentially accept a request, and you can also become moderators at a room if they like what you have to say, if you're contributing to the room a lot.
Yeah, so basically it's like an app that's also an online chat room, but there's no text involved. It's all verbal. So it's like hopping on a call, right? Or it's like what we do here at the end, where it's like our discussion part, where we all just like get together and have a conversation as a group. So we're gonna start doing some of that too, just kind of sporadically. So if you guys do have an invite, or if you want an invite, you can actually send me a message. I'll personally send you an invite, so that whenever you want. And actually, these invites are actually selling for like, what was it less, like $20-$30, and you only get 2. Only a certain limited amount of people are able to join this app. So if you guys want exclusive access, let me know, and we'll send you the invite. And that way, you guys can also join us beyond just AQ Adaptive Intelligence's Thinking Thursdays. Maybe sporadically we'll hop on, or maybe replay some of our footage from the past, and like have discussions with brand new people that have never heard this stuff before. And if you're a veteran, you can come in and feel really good about yourself because you know some of the information, you've got the inside scoop. So just let me know. Just like send me a private message on like Facebook or however we normally communicate. And if somebody's on YouTube and you want access to it, put a comment down below, hit the like, hit subscribe, and I can send you an invite to that group as well. Yeah, it's called Clubhouse.
Okay. Is there no names? You can kind of just say whatever. Nobody's seeing you call yourself anything and be yourself.
Yeah, you can write whatever you want as your own name. You can call yourself Blue Kitty Cat or something, right. And then put a picture of a pumpkin or something, and nobody will know who you are. It's just voice.
I'm not sure that nobody could find out who you are, but it'll make you more anonymous than if you didn't do that.
Yeah, which sometimes people to make themselves more anonymous. That if you're afraid of like people figuring out who you are because of your voice, because you think your voice is so unique that nobody in the world has the same voice as you, well, you're in good luck, because there's actually things that can change your voice, like vocoders and stuff like that will actually like alter your voice. So you have like a monster voice or an alien voice or stuff like that, but you can use that as a third-party app and then just use that whenever you talk. But it's a cool little fun platform. We've been exploring it. We want to include it into AQ.
When you first are invited in, you get 2 invitations to other people that you can use, but there's a hack on this so that you don't even need an invitation to get people to join. If you have somebody on your messages app on your iPhone or iPad, you can just share the information to them, and then when they click on when they share on the content, let them in, and it doesn't take away your invitations. You still retain your 2 invitations.
But anyway, they can know who you are because it's voice recognition.
Oh yeah. There's no anonymity. If the 3-letter agencies want to find you, they'll find you. Yeah. Well, you can restrain what you say to some degree, although typically I don't restrain myself very much.
No, you don't have to restrain yourself. We can always edit things out. Like if you want me to edit something out, just let us know like ahead of time. Be like, hey, you should probably edit this out, but I think this, and this. Period. Like we can do that.
No, I'm talking about Clubhouse. Censorship is becoming more and more common nowadays. People are censoring themselves because they don't want to say things that will get them banned and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah.
You guys have any questions about some of the stuff she was talking about? Because I can answer the questions. No. Well, my mom's a big advocate of using rosemary. She's
Ginkgo biloba. Tea 3 times a day.
Okay. It's the oldest tree in the world, I think.
Yep.
It's been around for 220 million years.
Yeah.
I have 3 trees in the backyard.
We are trying to grow them. They are short, about 2 feet high, but.
Yeah, they're pretty big out in California.
Make sure you don't have a female tree.
Yeah, they stink.
I know, but it's hard to tell. It takes a long time.
16 years.
To find out if you got male or female trees. So.
Well, you can graft on a female with a male, I guess.
Oh, that's smart.
I mean, that's what they do. If you buy one in garden supplies place, they'll sell you male trees. They'll be grafted on.
The best option is to make them out of little twigs. You can just stick them in the ground and they'll grow. But anyway,
for that, he has something to help you there.
Memory and nerve support.
Yeah, so lion's mane is one of the few things in the world, like foods, for example, that actually has been proven with neuroscience to make you smarter. So yeah, another good food too is blueberries. Rosemary is supposed to be a good herb to use for that as well. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you can actually use it in many different ways. You know, you can like sprinkle it on your food, or you can make like a rosemary tea, rosemary essential oil.
Rosemary
Oh,
Yeah,
potato.
rosemary potatoes. That's good. Yeah, I like that. That's
Oh.
really good.
You can actually do rosemary infused mashed potato.
You can never get enough mashed potatoes.
Gabriel told me about purple sweet potatoes. I like them. They're awesome.
Yeah, yeah, they're really good, and they're like super loaded up with antioxidants. And they also have like a lot of like the purple pigment, which is very difficult to find in nature. They're basically super antioxidant, and they're really good for you. So like purple potatoes or Japanese yams, when you crack them open, they're purple on the inside. Like it's like a really nice deep indigo purple blue, right? There's like hundreds of different potatoes in the Andes.
Really?
So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah. So this Peruvian guy, all he did his whole life was just like farm potatoes and all sorts, like different types, like just from all over the place. And he would like crossbreed them, make his own, and like spread them around everywhere. It was a very fascinating little documentary. And actually in Peru, it's such a big, like potatoes are such a big deal that they have an entire festival just on potatoes. And it's so cute because like you'll see them like come with a bunch of like sacks of potatoes and like the llamas and everything. They're like coming down the mountain. It's super adorable. Like all the kids like are eating potatoes. Like
I've recovered from rheumatoid arthritis, but if I don't walk the tightrope, I'll get a little bit of joint pain.
have you ever tried an anti-inflammatory diet?
Yes. Turmeric, I just kind of forgot about it. And I've been in remission for years and years, and it's just kind of sneaking back. So I'm going to add turmeric back in.
Yeah, things that are good, like, you know, besides just having an anti-inflammatory diet, it helps to eat foods high in omega-3. So like chia seed is one of my favorites, high in omega-3. And I tend to avoid fish or fish pills because it's got like mercury and a bunch of other stuff, but you already know that.
I take them, but I quit a couple years
Right,
ago.
right. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. And plus chia seeds are way cheaper. Like chia seed oil is like way cheaper than fish oil. So why not save more money and get a better product? Like,
because like live on them for like, that's all they had. Travel a long time and they would just have them in their pockets, live off of them.
Yeah, and it's really good for losing weight if you have like real chia seeds. Another really good thing that I still love, because like I noticed that like I have like gluten sensitivity, and if I do eat gluten, my entire body gets inflamed and like I get migraines and all this crazy stuff, and I get subluxated. It's just crazy, right? Apart from, you know, avoiding gluten stuff, I also will incorporate things that are anti-inflammatory. So like turmeric is a good one. Ginger is the best one, I think, personally. But then there's also other herbs like devil's claw, to boswellia is another good one. Those I would use more like medicinally. I wouldn't like do them necessarily every day. Ginger is okay every day, but the other two, like devil's claw and boswellia, don't abuse them, obviously. But you can get them at any health food store. They're easy to get, the counter, you know.
There's a lot of herbs that are beneficial for you.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, but I always go back to like the diet. That's like the easiest way. It's the cheapest way. And honestly, it actually helps too. But what I started doing is I started taking pictures of whatever I eat every single day just to check myself, because sometimes you'll never know. Sometimes they'll like sneak something in there and you didn't realize. Like you went to a restaurant and there happened to be gluten and you didn't even know because apparently it's in their sauce, and you thought, oh, I didn't have any bread. What's going on? Well, it was in their sauce, and you didn't realize. I had that problem with Indian food. There's a lot of Indian spices that you read the ingredients and it looks fine, but it also says in tiny little letters at the bottom, it says may contain wheat.
I know.
Really? I did not
like
see that before.
I'm super tyrant on that. I'm celiac, so I could not have it at all. Just drive me. It changed my life though. Like
I know, right?
If I didn't become a practitioner and I didn't do it through the way they take a snip of your intestine, I did a Genova lab. I don't know if anybody would have caught it.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that out on my own too. Like I just noticed my energy levels and I was like, some days I feel really tired, some days I don't. What's the difference?
Exactly.
You know, so I started just like eliminate, like I was like, okay, let me try different things in the diet. What helped me the most was actually like drinking like at least one smoothie every day. It's amazing. I don't know why, probably because of the enzymes, but it's phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah. So like when you start to like do a combination of all the good things, like the best things for your body, for your neurology, then you reach that next higher level. But you have to like feed your body, feed your mind, and live that out. And your body will thank you, your life will thank you, everything will drastically improve. And then you'll be able to help others. That's how we improve the world.
When I ate like crap, like I was dumber. I swear. I know I was.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like, you know, I remember when I was like an omnivore and I would just eat whatever, I wasn't as smart. I was not as smart. I just wasn't, because I was eating all this cholesterol. It was clogging up the arteries in my brain. So I wasn't getting all the blood flow I could normally get. You know, so my neurology wasn't working optimally. I was more tired, more lazy. I wouldn't do anything. I didn't have any drive. Small changes that compound. And then so that makes all the difference.
really does.
Yeah, I know if I eat crap, my ambition just goes away completely.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be around people. I think it was like last weekend I had some pizza and a candy bar, and next 2 days I was just
I
like,
can't believe a
whoa, like,
chiropractor eating pizza and candy bar. I'm teasing you.
No, it's so funny. Like this is part of the reason why like I kind of didn't jive with a lot of chiropractors in school, because they would always have like different techniques, would have like their like club days where you would go and like learn a specific technique. But sometimes and it was quite an often, like they would want more people to show up. So they would kind of bribe people and like, there's going to be food there. But the food was always, and I kid you not, it was always pizza, potato chip, and soda. And I'm like, and I walk in, I'm like, are you guys seriously kidding me right now?
Do you want everybody to be like,
right?
terrible?
It's like you guys are
this?
supposed to be, yeah, exactly. It's like you guys are supposed to be the example. Like you're supposed to like
Right.
live the lifestyle. Like what are you doing? There's like so much like disconnect between like what was like preached and what was practiced, and that's why like I kind of just didn't jive. Like to say to like for somebody that doesn't actually understand nutrition to say, oh yeah, I took nutrition, I know that. Yeah, that's actually a disservice to people because they don't actually know what they're talking about. Especially if they're sitting there eating pizza and drinking soda. Like, come on, give me a break. You know?
It's like, let's go take a nap after this, you know?
right. Yeah.
Oh
So, just like little things like that I noticed. I was like, like the philosophy is great, but you got to actually live it. You can't just talk about it.
I know.
Yeah, because then nobody will believe you anyway.
Right. Yeah. Like I legitimately have met people that were chiropractors that said, oh, all you need is chiropractic. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need to eat a good diet. You don't need that. What do you need that for? You just need chiropractic. And I just like, I was floored. And my dad actually will tell you, he was there when it happened. And and this was like a high level person. I'm not going to say names, but I was blown away by that response.
Yeah, anybody telling you that there's just one thing that's going to fix everything?
No. Yeah, that's it takes many things because there's lots of different issues going on.
One of the things that's important is to keep your body alkalized. If you don't have an alkalized blood system, then cancer can start growing if you're eating sugar and sweets and stuff like that.
Absolutely. You either feed the healthy cells or you feed the bad, unhealthy cells.
Yeah.
Choice is yours.
You were referring to that person that we met one day in a college and I inquired about nutrition. I brought that up, but he was very overweight and he was in the upper management in that college. We do straight chiropractic here. That's the only thing that matters. Nutrition is BS.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like, when I was actually like taking nutrition classes in chiropractic college, I was very close friends with the teacher. And one of the things that she taught was like, oh, you need to eat fluoride. It's good for your bones. And after the class, I go to her and I'm like, that's not true, right? And she's like, yeah, I know, but it's in the curriculum.
Oh gosh.
Then why are you what? No.
That's what I'm like, you are indoctrinated. You're indoctrinated. You can't even say what you feel.
I know, it's insane.
That's so bad.
Yeah. So
that is almost like when you go to a doctor, all what you need is one more pill.
Yeah, all you need is drugs.
Are you taking Motrin every 4 hours? I'm like, no. One, I have asthma, so you don't give someone with asthma Motrin, but no, I do not want to poke holes in my stomach.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if they told people even half the things that they should know, nobody will be taking drugs.
I know.
You got to take Fosamax to keep you from getting osteoporosis too.
That would drive me nuts. Yeah.
Maybe if you tell them the truth, they will make all the legal drugs illegal and some of the illegal drugs legal.
Exactly, right?
You got all these people that for whatever reason they are allowed to smoke marijuana, but they're treating patients with some very nasty medications, patients with some emotional disorders, let's put it that way. I don't know if it's mental, but most cases it's emotional. And they put you on a pill that it has a list of side effects that is 2 pages long. And many people end up dying from those medications.
I'm super passionate about that subject. Kelly Brogan, you guys ever read her book? Kelly Brogan, if you ever have time. She's written 2 books now, but she's a psychiatrist. So she wrote pills and then she got Hashimoto's herself and went to a practitioner and they wanted to give her an antidepressant. And then she just kind of had a come to Jesus moment, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing to my people? Like, it's just lazy medicine. But she's been beat up, I'm surprised someone hasn't tried to kill her because
right, yeah, it's always the ones
industry.
that speak the truth that they try to ban them, silence them, kill them,
Yes.
whatever.
Exactly. She's so
Like,
right.
oh, the
And
secret's
you
out.
never get off those drugs. They are so hard. My ex-husband, he was always trying to give me the neck. I mean, he gave me everything there was of psych, SSRI. I don't even know all the types, SNRI. They're poison. They are poison, but they get brainwashed by reps and they're terrible.
The gateway drug is high blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
What do you mean by gateway?
That gets you started, because when you start taking high blood pressure medication, then you
You're
have
tired.
all these, what they call euphemistically, side effects, and they're actually poisoning your body.
Yeah.
And then they start giving you more medication to deal with the side effects.
The guy I work with, he's only like 27 years old. He's on blood pressure medication. He just got put on that, and I'm just like, oh man, that's not
Probably
good.
for borderline. Like you all know Jack Wolfson, right? He just moved from here. He wrote Paleo Cardiologist. He worked in a really prestigious cardiology practice, and he would let blood pressures get a little high. We have a low threshold, like, oh, it's high, here's a pill. Like, you just walked into a doctor's office, okay? Like, maybe you should check it at the end if it normalized. Like,
well, why does your blood pressure get high? The body doesn't know what to do. It's so stupid.
Right.
But actually, what the reason that you get high blood pressure is because you don't have enough blood flow, and the body says, well, we got to increase the pressure so we can get the blood to where it needs to go.
Yeah, the body's smart.
There's an underlying condition,
And that is the problem with medicine. It does tend to say, oh, well, your body's really dumb, it can't figure things out, and it's incompetent, so we need to give. Yeah, we're the only experts, right?
But you aren't the expert.
No, absolutely not. No, anybody who says different is a quack. But it's like, well, what about if they're actually getting results? Oh, it's just
they
a fluke.
They don't care about results.
Really?
Instead of high blood pressure medication, you can replace that. Organic apple cider vinegar.
Berberrine's good.
Well, I don't know about that one, but the apple cider vinegar, unfiltered, you take a tablespoon or two, diluted in water, of course, in the morning before you eat, and that will lower your blood pressure.
Oh, that's my mom. High blood pressure, but my mom does. And there's a certain age group, they really worship their doctors, and so they're not, like, to my parents think I'm off my rocker,
That's true with all of us, probably.
Yeah, because we can think for ourselves.
Like, ever since you got into functional medicine, you've gotten so weird. And I'm like, it's the real medicine.
Anybody that follows corporate programming has a distorted view of reality.
That is very true.
That is their problem.
Well, they're told what to buy.
Looping. It's just looping around and around, and really sad.
It is. It hijacks people's ability to think, and that's not good for humanity.
It does. I always pray, like, I was hoping chiropractic, functional medicine, all of these other medicines that work, modalities we would rise to the top.
Right, yeah.
Nutrition
should have happened.
She's a chiropractor, but she specializes in blending the right and brain.
Yeah, like hemisphericity is what it's called. It's balancing both sides of the brain. But if you guys want freedom, come to Mexico. It's pretty nice.
I want to go. I keep saying that to people, and they're like,
well, you will. Just come to the healing retreat. It's in Mexico. It's going to be November. November 11th through, I believe it was 14th. Yeah, it's always warm here. It's always warm.
Yeah.
It's the Caribbean.
It's not always warm. Sometimes it's hot.
Yeah, sometimes it's hot.
Yeah.
They have two seasons, hot and hotter.
Just wait until the Arctic ice completely goes to the ocean, and then we're going to have equivalent to 25 years of CO2 emissions at our current rate of emission. That's going to be and it might happen this year.
Oh my God.
Perfect time to start making my own underwater Atlantis.
So if that happens, then everything is going to get warmer, right?
Everything is going to get hotter.
Hotter. Okay.
Well, I'll just live in the ocean.
Yeah, we'll not move to Florida then.
You swim in the ocean. There you go.
I will stick around in the Carolinas.
What happens when the atmosphere gets hotter and the ocean gets hotter is that the hot air can hold more water vapor. The ocean is going to be evaporating more moisture. So we're going to have a lot more moisture in the air and that means we're going to have torrential rainfall in places. We already have a substantial flooding going on.
I thought they were just doing that through those frequency devices, creating.
No, well, that might be disinformation so that you won't know what's really going on.
Okay, I think that it's time to sell the RV, honey. Sorry, and get a boat.
Just buy an ark.
Do your parents live in Mexico?
No, they're in the Carolinas.
Another thing that's going to happen
blooming.
is we're going to have tornadoes and hurricanes that are huge. You know, the ones that are currently going on are going to be mild. Even the biggest ones will be mild compared to the ones in the future.
Okay, that's it. Time to sell the house, honey.
So tell me again, I thought I was researching that they were creating this. There was a device that
HAARP?
I can't recall.
Yeah,
The HAARP. Yeah.
Well, what HAARP can do is it can heat up the atmosphere in front of satellites, so they can direct that energy and then heat up the atmosphere, which would expand that atmosphere into the space in front of a satellite, and that could cause the satellite to fail.
I say, damn Chinese.
I know.
No, well, the Chinese probably have something they're working on too. I don't know.
Time to sell the house and start digging a hole on the side of the mountain.
Just buy
I
a
just
rock.
don't know what it's just like so scary. And I've been working on a lot with the cities and states with the amount of 4 and 5G that we have. Can be a lot of just 4G, and it's signed and done. It's like you got to protect yourself and then not be in fear, because a lot of these things are so heavy.
Some of the people at the top know that they have to reduce the population, so they have plans to do it.
So not a bad timing to start thinking about, like the French are very smart sometimes.
They said no.
They have been digging holes in the mountains and making residential homes in man-made caves. Also in Spain, they got those. And I don't know if we have it here in the US, but they are living in caves, basically.
I think they do that here too. Like the elites are living to escape in case something.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're digging underground shelters so that when it hits a fan, they have a place to go to.
These are not shelters. These are caves for people to live. And so you are on the side of a mountain. Obviously, you probably have a nice view from there. And the temperature is pretty much always the same, depending how deep you go into the mountain. And you are protected from the environment, from storms. You're protected from so many things, even probably the 5G.
Sure, 5G is easy to block.
It is.
You can live in a Faraday cage and that'll block everything.
That's ridiculous. Like that's what my group thinks. There's wearable, you can use harmonizers, and they've gotten cheaper water. There's frequency water that increases your biofield. And
yeah, but there's also the chemtrails they're spraying all over the place.
Yes.
About that.
Yes. Those are the days I'm like, I don't feel that good. See it really bad.
They spray barium and other poisonous stuff, toxic material. The Mount Shasta snow is like heavily polluted with that kind of stuff.
How do you get rid of that?
You definitely want to filter your water, and not just with a Brita filter or something. You need
I have a frequency device called iWater, intelligent water.
So you say that'll take fluoride out?
No. What I could do for now, I have RO, I add minerals, and then I add the frequency to the water.
I use zero water filters. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I use it too. It's pretty good. The water tastes great.
Where do you get that?
Well, you can buy it online.
Zero, ZERO.
Yeah.
So you can just use tap water, run it through, and then you could add frequency?
Yep.
Yeah, you could do that. If you buy a kit, they'll give you a pitcher and device to measure the parts per million in the water. They recommend that you don't let the water get above 6 parts per million.
Well, that zero, I think that I looked into that zero water. I think that the downside is that it takes away a lot of minerals.
That's true.
That's why you have to add them back.
The Berkey will remove your chloramine. You got your regular filter on the top and then the chloramine filter underneath.
Will it remove fluoride?
It will remove fluoride, but actually the chloramine is harder to get removed from the water.
It will not remove fluoride?
It will remove fluoride, and it will remove chloramine if you buy one with the chloramine filter.
It seems like if it'll remove fluorine, then it'd probably take out minerals too.
Yeah, I didn't buy one because in Arizona we have really hard water, so you have to replace the filter a lot. Now that I understand how bad it is, you just replace the filter a lot.
Basically, when I take the water out of there, I put it in a different container, and I have minerals in that one. So I dump the water in the other one, the glass container. And
yeah, well, you can definitely add minerals.
Right.
You can put a little bit of baking soda, or don't take this as
No, I like these ideas. This is great.
Well, I bought online something that Berkey recommends if you want to put minerals back in the water. So I ordered that. It actually changes the pH also, with the minerals. You see a change in the pH. pH goes
higher.
Yeah. Started with a 7, I may end up with an 8 or 7.5.
The biggest danger with fluoride is that your skin is your body's biggest organ, and it also absorbs the most. So whenever you take a shower and the shower still has fluoride in it, you're still absorbing fluoride.
So you need a filter on your shower.
Yeah, we actually install filters in our showers. It's like a 15-stage filter. It's called inline shower filter.
Yeah, not all filters will be able to handle the hot water that you use in a shower.
They recommend to use like warm water, not like boiling hot.
You wouldn't take a bath with it?
No, they recommend you not to blast the shower with very hot water. You just have to use moderate water. Well, if they can poison you with the water, they are gonna give you another vaccine.
Yeah. Well, all we can do is just keep trying to adapt. Stay adaptive, stay intelligent.
I think there's going to be MDs or DOs that will not give you the shot and write down the serial number. Maybe.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's my idea.
That would be cool.
Yeah, they will.
You give them a couple $100 and they'll take care of
it. Or a nurse, right? Okay, like, what do they care? Because it's often not the doctor giving it.
It's risky if they claim they gave you a vaccine and they didn't, then they could probably lose their license.
That's why that you're giving them money for the risk.
Oh, guys. So I just got word back from Dr. Lauren here, and she said, "Hey, sorry about that. Muted phone and video to use the restroom, and when I came back, I didn't have any internet. Reset the router, and while waiting for that to get back online, found out the basement is flooded. ... So eventful evening. Good group turnout, though. Send her good vibes. Hopefully her house isn't flooded, but."
Tell her thanks for coming from the group, at least from this part of the group.
I'll tell her that.
Since the movie stars are going down, people have to be movie stars. We got to figure this out.
Exactly. Yeah. We're the new movie stars. I like that.
Yep.
And we actually have more real information, and we're real. We're not fake like movie stars.
Exactly.
We're the real stars right here.
Just wait until AI starts making deep fakes. Somebody will call you and it'll say somebody that you recognize, and it'll be a deep fake, and you won't be able to tell that it is.
They'll start making deep fakes of me, and I'll be saying, "I recently decided to become a medical doctor, and I started eating a lot of cheese and a lot of meat." Actually, I already said it technically. I don't know. Maybe they'll just use that as audio. There you go. The job's already done.
3 weeks ago, I was shocked. I was doing something in the kitchen, and the TV was on, and they announced new medical research finds that cheese will actually help you with your longevity, and eat more cheese, basically.
Wow. Eat more cheese. Give us more money.
They say that in Europe, people tend to live a little bit longer, and that's due to the cheese. I don't think so. Maybe the wine and the olives, but I don't know about the cheese.
Right. Is it Japanese? Eat soy, but they have a little bit like a condiment. People are like, "Oh, I eat a lot of soy. It's good for you."
Well, they fermented soy. Here, they push a lot on soy milk. And for a while, we did drink soy milk every day, since most people in the house are lactose intolerant. Soy, it doesn't matter even if it's organic, trigger cancer.
Yeah.
So, and now they put soy in everything. So we find out about that. We changed. We stopped with the soy. Now we try to like almond or cashew milk,
Right.
I'm soy sorry.
You're soy sorry.
But you know that they put soy in everything, pretty much.
Everything.
Soy and sugar and all the bad stuff, basically,
I know.
Is that Soylent Green?
There you go.
I missed
yes,
that.
it's Soylent Green.
It's a Brave New World or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's basically like a dystopian, futuristic movie where in the future, basically, there's like so much food shortage that people have to eat something called Soylent Green. If you watch the whole movie, it turns out that Soylent Green is actually just grinded up people that they feed to people again. The really messed up part is they did that with cows. And so they started feeding dead cows to cows. And then the protein folding, somehow this happened where it basically created what we now know as mad cow disease, which is a prion disease, which is a improper folding of a protein, which then triggers, like a virus, another protein to fold into the same shape. And it's very heat stable. So even if you cook it, it's not going to go away. So it's like a protein virus almost. But you shouldn't feed cows to cows or people to people.
Yeah, cows don't eat meat.
Oh my gosh.
And then deer
That would
are
be
coming
gross.
down with that same problem. If you get exposed to that stuff.
Yeah, it's horrendous. Like the disease to shame, because like if you get a prion disease, like you're pretty screwed.
Yeah.
It's called
You're pretty screwed.
prion.
There's prions. Yeah,
That's
look up prion diseases. It's
Okay.
PRION. That is terrifying.
Okay.
That's nightmare fuel. And another good reason to go vegan.
Exactly.
I don't eat any of those foods anyway. Like, it makes me sick. It's like I'm a canary, and then bad for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Aren't aware like of how food affects them.
Another thing that's a problem is that the Wi-Fi and even smartphones and tablets and laptops and stuff, they emit electromagnetic radiation that's problematic. In the guidelines, they say that you're supposed to keep your phone further away from your body than like 5 millimeters or something.
Yes.
And, most people are just holding them in their hands all the time or in their, their pockets or up to their head. And it's causing health problems.
When I was back in undergrad, I was taking organic chemistry at the time. So our professor was telling us about how there was a specific machine where it keeps things very cold, but it generates an electromagnetic field, and so all this electricity is coming out. So you got to wear protective gear and stuff like that. At the time, I was a little unwoke, if I'll call it that. I was a little unwoke.
Yes.
And I told him, I was like, he's like, oh, be careful because it can hurt your cells. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if that's the case, it's emitting the same frequencies that a radio tower would do. So then, that should be harming us. That just sounds silly. I was like, that can't happen. And he's like, really? It can't happen? And I was like, oh, crap. That was the moment I woke up on that one.
And I know.
Humans haven't evolved in a world where there were microwaves to any degree, anything nearly what we have today. Today we have microwaves all over the place.
25 million times beyond what is safe. So they determined, I forget now the measurement, but it's insane.
We also have the insect apocalypse. When we used to drive at night, in our cars, we would get insects all over the windshields. And now the insect population is about maybe 10% of what it used to be, something like that.
I had bees. Bees would be on their backs, but they weren't dead. They were just kind of like, I'm not sure, halfway between. And then they just went away. And then I saw videos from all over the world.
A lot of pesticides around too. So
yeah, that's true.
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of things.
Actually, in Mexico, I actually saw it. I witnessed this. Like, there was a car driving by, and it was like spraying stuff everywhere. I'm like, what the heck is that? And somebody was like, oh, probably DDT. I was like, what? So I was like, nope, I'm going somewhere else. I'm not breathing that in. But yeah, they're still spraying that stuff in Mexico, in the streets.
Yeah. Look up spraying on YouTube. You probably find all kinds of stuff, if they haven't censored it already.
Right, yeah. Things they don't want you to know.
The Rocky Point, when they opened up like the border and they made us go through like this shower. I think it was water, fake. I don't know.
Wow.
We just wanted to go so bad. Sick of being, stuck, not doing anything, go by the ocean. Well, we'll detox it out.
Hopefully. Some things get stuck forever.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't do it again. We didn't know. Like, they didn't warn us. And there you are.
Yeah.
Has anybody heard about Suzanne Humphreys? She talks about vitamin C a lot and about vaccines and how the problem with vaccinations and stuff. I would highly recommend looking into what she has to say if you haven't already.
Okay, like vitamin C obviously helping.
Yeah, vitamin C it's remarkable what it can do to like fight disease.
Yeah, actually one of the best ways is actually if you ever see like those very long needle pine trees, like the long ones, not the short ones, because the short ones are poisonous, but the very long ones. If you get like even the leaves, you can like use the leaves for like a cold infusion, like tea, or you can warm it up because like vitamin C is heat stable if it's like the natural form, not if it's like the fake form. If it's the fake form, it breaks down into oxalic acid, which is a poison. So avoid the synthetic vitamin C's. But I'm talking about just in nature because it's heat stable in nature. You basically like get either the long pine needles or the buds. You can just eat the bud most of the time, or you can like just kind of chew on the leaves. or make them into teas, and that has enough vitamin C to cure scurvy. Like, so even if you were so deficient in vitamin C where you had scurvy, if you eat that stuff, it's gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful stuff.
Everything's here that we need.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally, like nature provides.
I know.
It really does, and people just are completely unaware.
Yeah.
They're getting farther and farther away from nature.
The reason why nature provides is because natural organisms are living in the wild, and there's all kinds of viruses and pathogens and fungus and stuff that are out to get them. If they're little factories so they produce chemicals that give them resistance to all these attacks that they encounter. In order to survive, they're selected for the capability to defend themselves. So when you eat herbs and good plants, is that you're getting the chemicals that they produce to protect themselves.
Yeah, a prime example of that is, in modern medicine likes to tout that it is so great because it discovered penicillin. So modern medicine likes to think, oh, it's so great for discovering, penicillin, antibiotics. Well, mushrooms have been doing it for millions of years. Modern medicine likes to think that it knows everything, but it doesn't, because nature already had that figured out even before humans were around. Way before humans were around. Yeah.
I'm not sure that the chemists that work at pharmaceutical companies are ignorant to some of these things. It's just that if they put out information like that, then people wouldn't be interested in their products. So.
Yeah, they wouldn't be making any money, and people would be healthy.
If everybody was healthy, there's a lot of money that will be lost.
That's why they call us human resources. We provide resources for them.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's coming for next week. This one's very special. I actually met this guy at a shaman retreat recently in Mexico. He specializes in psychology, so he's a psychologist. He also studied religion and mythology. His passion is using psychology and archetypes. In every mythology, there's like archetypes of ideas, right? There's like male and female, hero, villain, victim. So there's like all these different symbols, and they're very similar throughout every single culture all over the world. And you see that through like in the hero story. And every story, there's the hero, there's the villain, there's the person that's being saved or the people that need to be saved. So there's archetypes of all that in every single religion. It's actually, the archetypes are stored in our psychology. So he's going to talk to us about that. So it's going to be really cool. You'll get to see into the matrix of your own mind. So yeah, stay tuned for that next week.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you.
All right.
Have a great night.